Hello, welcome back to my world of stuff. This is the third time I've recorded this introduction to my review, my late to the party, you might think, review of Jurassic World Dominion. Now, I actually recorded this a couple of weeks ago when the film came out. I just haven't had a chance to upload it yet. It's been a fairly sort of hectic time, things going on, a couple of little emergencies that we've had to deal with. So I just haven't had a chance to upload that video, and I'm conscious that as the days go by, it's getting older and older. So this obviously is, you will have read dozens of reviews and seen dozens of reviews of Jurassic World Dominion, but I wanted to get my 3 penneth up there because I filmed it. So this was recorded about a fortnight ago. These are my thoughts on the latest and hopefully final entry in the Jurassic World franchise. Hello, welcome back. Okay, it's that time. It's Sunday afternoon. It's 3:25, and I'm going to say Jurassic World Dominion. Normally, I wouldn't go to a busy afternoon screening, but I couldn't make it on Friday or yesterday, so I'm taking a chance. It looks pretty busy. I'm in the View Cinema near Merthyr in South Wales. And the cinema's packed. There's hardly any parking spaces, so it's going to be full. Just hope the crowd is well behaved. As far as the film is concerned, I expected that this was going to be one of my films of the year, one of my favourite films of the year. But I've tempered my expectations in light of not so much the reviews, because I haven't read the reviews, but the general impression seems to be that it's disappointing. It sort of veers between disappointing and crap, which is a worry. But I'm just going in now. I'm not expecting the film I was originally expecting. I'll elaborate on that later. I know pretty much that this film isn't the man versus dinosaurs feast that most of us might have expected. So I'm just looking forward to a couple of hours of escapist entertainment with some monsters in it. So let's go in and see Jurassic World Dominion, and I shall report back very, very soon.
2 hours later.
Hello and welcome back. Okay, well, I'm back from Jurassic World Dominion, which I saw this afternoon. I won't mess about. It's not as bad as you might have heard from various reviews and various comments. It's not a terrible film, but it's not a great film. It's certainly disappointing in terms of what we might have expected. Now, the previous film in the series from 2018, it was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, directed by J.A. Bayona. Wasn't a film I was keen on. I thought the second half just spiraled out of control into this strange sort of ghost haunted house type thing, which I just didn't think worked. But that ended setting up a scenario which I think we all imagined that this film, particularly with the title Jurassic World Dominion, was going to take us to. Was the story of man versus dinosaurs, two species vying for dominion over the planet. That's where we seem to be going. But when I discovered in the last few weeks that wasn't actually what we were going to get, I was disappointed in advance. So when I went to see the film, I wasn't disappointed because I knew we weren't getting that. I knew that it was going to be going in a different direction, which I think is an interesting creative choice. Colin Trevorrow, who directed Jurassic World back in 2015, he's back in the director's chair for this one. I think he's responsible for the story as well. He's part of this. I think he co-wrote the script, although I may be wrong. But I think in going off into a different direction, it's inevitable. It's not going to be as satisfying as what we all wanted. I mean, we wanted this all along from the Jurassic franchise since it started back in 1993. We've wanted to see an all-out sort of pitched battle between dinosaurs and humanity. We've never really had that. We've had those sort of little skirmishes and clashes, but we've never had dinosaur on humanity action. And this film doesn't really give it to us either, which is a shame. It feels like a missed opportunity in what is the last of this trilogy of films, and I think should be the last in the Jurassic series, certainly for a while until it's regenerated itself a bit, because this just feels like a series that's now run out of steam. The story then basically is that sometime after the event of the previous film, dinosaurs are now loose across the planet, and there's a sort of, not exactly a truce, but they're finding their place in the ecosystem, and humanity is working and living around them. They have these little clashes now and again, but ultimately they're sort of jogging along together. The main focus of the story really is this organization called Biosyn, which is this top secret research organization which has used dinosaur DNA to create a race of giant super locusts. That's right, giant super locusts, which are in danger of sweeping across the world and causing agricultural catastrophe for the planet. This is all headed up by this organization Biosyn, which is headed by a character called Dobson, who apparently was in the first Jurassic Park film, played by a different actor. I think the fact that he's responsible for this is supposed to be a nice continuity reference, but really, who can remember this character? He's played by a different actor, as I say. I can't remember the name of the actor at the moment. I'll put the name down here. And he is very much cast in that sort of Elon Musk, Steve Jobs type sort of super rich maniac. But I don't think there's, as far as I can recall, there's no particular justification for why he's doing what he's doing. He's created this race of super locusts. I can't remember now if it's indicated that he tends to do a James Bond type holding the world to ransom thing. But it just seems he's created this thing and unleashed them upon the world for no apparent reason. Ian Malcolm is back, of course, played as ever by Jeff Goldblum. God, am I blank then? He's played as ever by Jeff Goldblum, who is in the organisation, working for the organisation, but he's actually almost like an inside man. He wants to put a stop to it. To do this, he sort of ropes in Alan Grant, Sam Neill, and Ellie Sattler, Laura Dern, who come to visit Biosyn, and he sort of, in a very clumsy moment, whispers, Biosyn, they're behind the locusts, they've caused it all, they've got the genetic experiments, and the locusts are down in the basement, and it's literally that clumsy. So those two then set off on a mission to explore Biosyn and try and get a sample of the locust DNA so that scientists can find a way to defeat them. Meanwhile, the characters from the first two films, Owen, played by Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard's character, and the name's gone, I'm afraid. I put it down there. They're also faffing about trying to save the girl who is this clone of John Hammond's previously unmentioned best friend from the last film. And I was a bit surprised that the film put so much emphasis on a character that was fairly roundly scorned and scoffed at in the last film, because she just appeared from nowhere, this cloned girl. But this film sort of hinges on her and this relationship that she did or didn't have with her mother who passed away. And it's sort of poignant that her mother had an incurable illness or a medical condition. When her daughter was born, she made sure that she spliced DNA into hers that meant she didn't have the disease. What's all this got to do with dinosaurs, you're probably wondering? That's a fair point. The dinosaurs very much take a backseat in this film. They're almost an afterthought. The film gets itself so wrapped up in this cloned daughter, the chase for the cloned daughter, who gets kidnapped in a scene which is pretty much from a Bond or Bourne or Mission Impossible film. This chase around Malta. And the locust stuff and the dinosaurs are very much an afterthought, and it's very, very odd. I mean, don't get me wrong, the dinosaurs appear. They are, of course, impressive because, the CGI, and there's a mix of CGI and practical effects. It works very well. But there's a sort of a 40-minute section at the beginning of the film where we just don't see any dinosaurs at all. And you sort of, when they do appear, you think, oh yeah, there's dinosaurs. This is a Jurassic World film. There's dinosaurs in this. And the problem again is that what the film is doing, it's as if it's conscious that it's the last film in this 6-film run, if you like. and it doesn't really bring anything new to the table in terms of what the dinosaurs do. It's very much a greatest hits thing. And lots of things you think, oh yeah, seen that before. That bit's from the first film, that bit's from the second film. There's one scene involving a major character which is this. Well, this is what happened in the first film. The whole of the last act is pretty much the end of Jurassic Park. Characters are trapped in this base with the power. It's being turned off. They have to turn it back on. The dinosaurs are on the rampage. The dinosaurs are fighting one another before they can try to escape. And you think, well, I saw this in 1993. And the script writing is lazy in terms of the action scenes as well. There's no sense that any of these characters are in any real danger. No matter how close dinosaurs get to them, it affects to make the dinosaurs suddenly give up. They're right on top of these people, and suddenly they just turn and walk away for no apparent reason. Endless scenes of people in jeopardy, falling through the air, falling through the water, about to be chomped, and suddenly one of the other characters will grab them and whisk them away. That sort of, whew, with one bound they were free thanks to somebody else stepping in. And I just got so annoyed with that because it's just lazy writing. It's just lazy writing. I think that this series deserves something better than that. It isn't disastrous. I mean, I did find it quite uninvolving. I was watching it and I thought, well, I don't really care about this. I don't care about these locusts. I don't care about the clone girl. But there was enough residual affection for the legacy trio when they came back. I thought, oh, it's nice to see them again. And they are all on point. I mean, Jeff Goldblum is sort of playing it for laughs, whether the character's now been overwritten as a comedic character, whether Jeff Goldblum just thought, this is crap, I'm just going to play it for laughs. Chris Pratt looks terminally bored throughout the thing. I think he must have only had about 20 lines of dialogue. Bryce Dallas Howard throws herself into it with gusto, but you sort of conscious of the fact that the legacy characters are stronger characters and the ones we're more interested in because we have more of a connection to them. So it was a disappointment. It's not dreadful. It's not a complete write-off, but it isn't one I'll rush to see again. The previous films, I've always sort of picked them up on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. I will get this for completion's sake, but because there are these longeurs where nothing interesting is going on, it's not one I'd rush back to see in the cinema again, for example, because I'm just conscious of that huge 40-minute wedge at the beginning, which is just very dull. And then, as I said, when the dinosaurs turn up, they're not doing anything new. They're new dinosaurs. And, they've updated the dinosaurs. They've reflected the fact that we now know dinosaurs were quite feathery, and they've done that. But it's very much business as usual with the dinosaurs. And maybe that's what the audience wants. I mean, at the time of recording this, the box office figures are in. It's done something like 140 million in America. It's taken nearly 350 million worldwide. So it's pretty much already in profit. Because we do have this enduring fascination with dinosaurs, and the Jurassic films are the best dinosaur films. But this one feels a bit on autopilot, as if there's almost like, will this do? Look at these characters and look at some more monsters. But I personally would prefer a slightly more imaginative story that delivered on what seemed to be promised from the last one. But the audience will go and see it because the audience loves the dinosaur action. But I think that kids will get restless. I mean, the cinema I saw it today was packed, which is the first time since the pandemic I've been in the cinema that full. And kids I know were getting restless because they were rushing out to the toilet, and I can hear them muttering and talking a little bit. Not in a distracting way, but there's so much wedgy exposition and clunky dialogue and just boring stuff that kids aren't really interested in. They want to see the dinosaurs. They're just, it takes a while to get there. So not a complete disaster, but definitely a disappointment. But I did prefer it to the last one, which I really didn't like very much. So I'm going to give Jurassic World Dominion, I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10. It's sort of slightly better than average, but really only slightly. But yeah, it's not a bad film, but I just didn't really engage with it in the way I would have liked to. And it is far too long as well. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes. It really, they could have pruned that first 40 minutes down to 20 minutes and cut it to a lean 2 hours and just go on with it a bit. So a disappointing end to the franchise, which is a shame. Where do we go from here? Well, there is an ending. It's quite a neat ending. It's quite sweet sort of ending for the characters and for the place of dinosaurs in the ecosystem, and it sort of rounds things off We've come a long way since Jurassic Park in 1993. The story has gone a long way since then. But I think it's time to sort of pull up the stumps with the Jurassic series now and give it a rest. It's sort of open-ended, that there could be more stories, but I hope that whoever goes back to this in years to come, and clearly this is going to be a huge hit, so the studio will want more at some stage. I hope they won't rush into it. I hope they'll sit back for a few years and let some new ideas percolate through with some new creatives who think, I've got an idea for this, I can do something different, something really good, because it's time for that. Right, so that's out now in cinemas, Jurassic World Dominion. Disappointing, but not a disaster. Right, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've seen Jurassic World Dominion, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of it. Do you disagree with me? Which you're quite entitled to do. Do you think that I'm on the money as far as this is concerned? Let me know what you thought. Right, I'm out of here. I will see you soon, or eventually, in another random video. Until I do, hey, keep taking the stuff.